we're not going to truly learn what we can accomplish. We're not going to get that belief of how good we truly can be, the accomplishments that are really there for us, because we're going to limit ourselves to a 10-second improvement in our best time, or maybe 20 seconds, not the 1 or 2 minutes that later on I realized I could accomplish, that I could do more. I want you to think back long, long ago and envision this. Many, many years ago, I was actually in high school and I ran cross country. And I was right at the top of the bottom half of the team. So I was a pretty mediocre runner in that. But we had this one practice. We were doing like half-mile intervals. So we'd have to run several times of a half mile. We do a break, then we do the next one. And the coach looked at me and said, "Okay, Ian, you lead the next group and you're going to do it in such and such a time." It's been a long time. I don't remember the exact time, and I don't want to embarrass people who may not have done as well as I did if I throw something out. Or maybe embarrass myself if you've done a lot better than me. But I looked at the coach and said, "I can't do that. I'm tired. I'm sweaty. I'm not motivated." He said, "No, you are leading the team in this interval." So I went and I did it, and I beat the time that he wanted us to do. And he looked at me and said, "See, I knew you could do that." I said, "Oh no, I can't do that. It was, it's not going to work." He goes, "No, I want you to lead the next one as well." I said, "I can't do that." So I led the next one and I beat that time again. He said, "See, I knew you had it in you, that you could do that." And I said, "I can't do it. I can't do it," because of a couple of things. First of all, I was kind of dumb. Second of all, there's a difference between faith and knowledge. I had a knowledge that I could do it. I had proven that I could do that. Absolute knowledge. But I still didn't believe it. I still didn't have faith. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but I'm going to give you one more example, and don't be too grossed out, but I think there's other people who might feel the same as me. I have an absolute knowledge, without any doubt whatsoever, that daily flossing will help the health of my teeth. However, every time I go to the dentist and they say, "Are you flossing every day?" I say, "Well, not every day," because I don't have the faith in it. Even though I know it's real, I know it will help me. I don't have the faith. And where that faith comes in is really what makes it an action word. And it's built on the desire that we have for something. Let me jump back to that cross country practice. I didn't have a desire to do great in that practice. I was tired and wanted to go home. I didn't have a motivation. I didn't have a real reason. And I thought the sooner we get over the practice, the sooner I can go home and rest. Not a championship mind, I admit. But without that desire, even though I accomplished it, I didn't believe I could replicate it. I didn't believe it was something I could continue doing. I didn't have a change of my mentality and suddenly jump up to a better runner than I had been before, even though that knowledge was there. Faith can be something which can propel us forward, or it can limit us and hold us back. Henry Ford famously said, "Whether you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right." And there's so much truth in that. So many times, sadly, in my life, I've believed I can't do something, even though I've proven to myself that I can. And it's held me back. If I had realized that in cross country, that I could do that earlier, I would have achieved a lot better. Instead of being at the top of the bottom half, I might have been at the middle of the top half. Maybe I would have been even better than that if I had had that faith. But without the desire for it, even a knowledge is not enough. Now, I just said knowledge is not enough, but knowledge is still important, and experiences. Okay, they're still in there. Don't push those aside completely. Faith starts to grow through small steps, small things we do. We set a small goal. In cross country, when I was running it, I would set a goal that was a little better than I was doing, and I would accomplish that. And that let me think I could do a little bit better than that, and I would accomplish that. And I would take small steps and get a little better and a little better because I believed from those experiences that I could be a little better. Wish I had believed I could be a lot better. I didn't learn that till later on. But those experiences teach us the truths that we can do better, we can accomplish things. But if we don't have a desire driving behind those, we're not going to truly learn what we can accomplish. We're not going to get that belief of how good we truly can be, the accomplishments that are really there for us, because we're going to limit ourselves to a 10-second improvement in our best time, or maybe 20 seconds, not the 1 or 2 minutes that later on I realized I could accomplish, that I could do more. Again, I'm a late learner, so hopefully you can learn from some of my experiences vicariously rather than making all the same mistakes I've made. One of the joys of being old is I can share my mistakes with other people and let them know that they can do better from me. But I want to fast forward about a year to my final cross country meet, last race I was going to have. And towards the end of that race, about 2/3 of the way through, I guess in about 2 miles, had about a mile left to go. And I was more tired than I was in that practice because I had already been giving everything in this race. I was tired, sweaty. I knew that when this finished, I would never, ever have to run again unless I wanted to. But at that time, I looked just in front of me and I saw one of my rivals who was always pretty close to me in cross country as far as our abilities. And he was just in front of me. And I thought, this is my last race ever. And this is my last chance ever to beat him. Now, I know from experience that I have more inside me, that when I am tired and frustrated and want to go home, I can still run faster because I've done it. But now I have a desire to do that. I have a desire to run faster. So in my final race, I can beat this guy. And I can know in the end, I won. And now I had a desire to do it. And I had a knowledge based on experience that I could do these things. And that equals a faith, which allowed me to take action and reach deeper inside and run faster and push harder. And okay, I don't want to leave you all in suspense about this. I got a really good time in it. I did well. I was really proud of how I did in the race. Whether I beat him or not, really not the point of this story. It's the fact that I did better. I reached down and I accomplished much more than I thought I could. Because faith is desire plus experience, gives us a faith that allows us to take action and accomplish things. And when your desire outweighs your fear, outweighs your regret, outweighs your negative feelings, faith allows you to grow.